effect playing out right there, because you have an expectation. You are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so many times it's not that we're not competent. Many times it's not that we don't have the skills. Many times it's not that we don't have the resources, right? But it's because hello everyone, and welcome to Wavelength. My name is Waveney and I am your host. Every week I share either stories or tips, all aimed to inspire you to being the best leader possible. Now, are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. This week I want to share with you how powerful your mind is, how important mindset is. You know, throughout my content on social media, in my newsletter, on my blog, I always speak about mindset, because what I've come to learn is that it is very, very powerful. How you think about yourself, how you think about your role as a leader truly impacts the way you show up. And so I feel very strongly about it. I've seen the effects of changing my mind, how shifting my perspective, how reframing has helped me to grow so much in my career. And you know, this is something that they don't teach you in business schools, right? They don't teach you, they teach you a lot of theory, but they don't stress on how important your mindset is, how important, you know, managing yourself, like taking care of yourself first, how that impacts how you show up. And I truly believe that if you want to be successful at anything, be it a leader or whatever, that you have to first take a look at your mindset. And so this week I am bringing to you an effect that was made popular by two psychologists. And today we're going to speak about the Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect. And I really hope I'm not butchering the word, but the Pygmalion effect. Now, the Pygmalion effect states that high expectations lead to improved performance and low expectations lead to worsened performance. So if you expect good things, if you expect that you're going to do great, you're probably going to do great. If you expect that you're not going to do well, you're not going to do well. And it's interesting because these two psychologists, I think it may have been in the 60s, you can Google that, but their names were Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson. And what they did, they actually did this research in classrooms. Yes, in classrooms. They observed that the teachers who had really high expectations of their students, those classes, those students performed exponentially well, right? And they observed that those teachers that didn't have really high expectations of their students, they didn't do well. And so it's interesting that it actually this effect came from a classroom, because we know that growing up sometimes, and you may have been a victim of this, that you may have had a teacher that really didn't pay much attention to you. Maybe they even said something that you weren't going to amount to anything, and you took that on. And so, you know, that is how, there's so much to unpack there. That is how powerful the mind is, that is how powerful words are, and that is how powerful expectations are. And so I wanted to share this with you because as leaders, we tend to, or as humans, we tend to base our perception and we tend to treat people based off how we perceive them and what we expect of them, right? Or from them. And so my question is to you is, what is the expectation that you are having of yourself? Because you know, it first starts with you. It first starts with you. What is the expectation that you have of yourself in your leadership role? Are you expecting yourself to fail? If you are a new leader, do you think that you're going to fail? Do are your thoughts always negative, right? Don't worry. The fact that you're looking at this, you're in the right place. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to help you. Okay? And so what is the expectation you have of yourself in the role? What is the expectation you have of your team, right? Do you expect that your team is they're gonna meet that goal? What about that person who's probably not that high performer? Because this is where this plays out, the Pygmalion effect plays out. We usually have someone on our team, they're not high performers, and we know this. The high performers, we expect them to be high performers, right? If they make a mistake, we're like, okay, they're having an off day. But what about that person who probably is not really a high performer, right? You expect them to mess up. You do that, right? And what is the expectation you have of your boss? Do you expect your boss to support you, or are you coming in with baggage, or are you coming in with preconceived ideas from stories your friends may have told you about this particular person, or your friends may have told you about how bosses are, right? What is your expectation? Because as the Pygmalion effect states, that if you expect great things, if you expect a high performance, you're gonna see it. If your expectations is low, you're gonna see it. And so I really want you to think about that, because this isn't just some woo-woo thing, right? This isn't just some woo-woo thing. This is something that immediately when you hear this message, you probably can tell me a story that yes, I was in this particular situation and I didn't really expect it, and this is what it produced. Well, you were living out the Pygmalion effect. And so based on your answers, if I were to ask you those questions, based on your answers, I can tell whether or not you have a fixed mindset or if you have a growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you're probably expecting things not to work out. If you have a growth mindset, it is the opposite, okay? I can tell whether you'll succeed or fail in life, not just your leadership role. I can tell if you're gonna succeed or fail. I can tell how you manage and how you lead your people just based off your answers. If we were sitting face to face and I were to ask you that, I can tell that. And then I could probably tell what the relationship is like with your boss. And so I really want you to think about this effect and how it's showing up in your life right now, right? Because your expectations are creating the results that you currently have. And it's creating the results because your expectations are impacting what you say, what you do, how you show up. And I'll give you an example. It's like creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, we show up with a particular energy. If we know that we're probably going to meet someone, right? And we're not sure about them, or maybe we had a little disagreement with them, we tend to show up really tense, right? We'll tend to show up like, okay, I don't know what's gonna, they're probably gonna bring this up. You're showing up in that energy, and many times people feed off your energy, and that is the effect playing out right there, because you have an expectation. You are creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so many times it's not that we're not competent. Many times it's not that we don't have the skills. Many times it's not that we don't have the resources, right? But it's because of our mindset. It is because we believe that we're gonna fail. It's because we don't expect any good to come from the situation, or any good to come from how we are showing up. We don't expect that we're going to do a great job. And I really hope that you take this on and think about how you are showing up. Think about how you're showing up in the different areas of your life, not just your professional, because the information I feed you, right? The people's brand is about taking a holistic approach. Okay, so the stuff that you learn here, you could translate it all across the board. You could translate it in your personal life. It's not just going to help you professionally, it's going to help you personally. And many times we are our own worst enemy. Many times we self-sabotage ourselves by the energy in which we show up and the expectation that we have ourselves. And so think about that. And so what usually happens is that because we have low expectations, we don't prepare for that interview. We don't give it 100%. We don't prepare for it. Maybe someone said, hey, I know you've been talking about really you want to leave your job, your boss, whatever, the work environment is toxic. There's a job over there. Why don't you apply for it? I spoke to the person. You know you don't want that job, yet you still go. You still go into it. Be honest. And so you don't prepare for that interview. And of course, you don't get the job. Right? And so we don't prepare for that interview. We don't give. We have a presentation. We have to chair a meeting. We have to do whatever it is in our leadership role. And because we have the feelings of not good enough, because we don't put value on where we are. And I spoke about value in the last wavelengths. If you miss it, go back and look at it. Right? We don't give it 100%. We don't put in the effort. Okay? We walk into our offices and we already have our face set, as we say in the Caribbean. We already have our face set because we want to know what BS that person who performs poorly is going to come with today. Or it may not even be the person. We just walk into the office, we walk into the organization, and it's like, okay, what BS am I going to encounter today? That is the Pygmalion effect. That is a law of expectation. You are expecting bad things. You are expecting a low performance, okay? And so we go into our boss office. We go in there, we are already tense because we've asked for that day off. We've asked for that time off. We've asked for whatever, and we walk in with that energy. We're holding that energy, that tense energy, that resistant energy. And because we already expect the answer to be no, right? And you know this because sometimes it happens to you. You're around people, or someone comes to your office and there's an energy about them. There's something in the atmosphere, right, around them, and you're like, what is going on? Like, you might even ask the person, are you okay? You know, is everything okay? Because they're probably coming in with an expectation. No, I want to give a disclaimer. I'm not saying that for every particular situation, this is what's going on, right? There may be other things going on. But I wanted to share this effect with you because many times it is our expectation of a thing, of a situation, of a person, of ourselves that lead us to failure. And so that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm saying. All right. And so what we don't realize is that we are communicating. The way this is working is because we are communicating all the time. As a leader, we're always on stage. You are communicating. 55% is your body language. And the human brain is so powerful. It is picking up cues all the time. You know, I was conducting a training class this last Friday, and I was telling the participants, and I use this example all the time. You walk into a store, you're scanning, right? You're scanning the store. Maybe the store doesn't, the employees there, they don't have uniforms, but you scan the store and you look at a person and you decide to approach them. You decide to approach them to ask them, hey, what is the price of this, or where can I find that? Why are you approaching that particular person? It is because there's something that you're picking up. There's something about the way they are communicating, their body language, that tells you that, hey, this person is one, approachable, or this person works in the store, right? And it could even be that you see others that work in the store, but you decide to approach somebody else. Same thing. You're doing it because you're picking up on their body language. You're picking up cues visually. And so this is what is happening with the law of expectation. We are communicating. 55% is how we communicate visually, and then 38% is vocally. And this is happening all the time. Okay? So what we don't realize is that because we already expect a particular outcome, we are thinking, we are feeling, our bodies and energy are preparing for negative interaction, that negative thing to happen. Okay? And so this is happening all the time. I know you know this. It has happened to me. I've certainly shown up in that energy. I didn't know what was going on, but it was a Pygmalion effect. It was me having that expectation. And so I want to wrap this up. I really hope this was helpful for you, but let's start expecting better from ourselves. It first starts with us. It first starts with us. Leadership starts with us. Everything starts with us, right? So let's start expecting better from ourselves. You can do this. You have the skills. You have the ability. And what you don't have or know, you can learn, right? This is having a growth mindset. Let's recognize that a growth mindset also means seeing possibility. And this isn't, just being positive for being toxic positive, or just being ridiculously positive, right? If there's such a term. It's being realistic, but it's positivity is backed with action. And that's the thing that most people miss. Positivity and expectation is backed with action. That is a piece. All right. And let's understand that as leaders, we are always on stage and we are always communicating, right? Influential leaders. I speak a lot about influential leadership on my platform and in my coaching programs. Let's strive to see the potential in others as influential leaders. Let's see the potential in others, even those persons who may not. As influential leaders, let us strive to see the potential in those who may even be C players, who may not be our best performers. Let's encourage them. Let's give them feedback. Let's hold them accountable, yes. But let's expect great things from them. And so I want to wrap it up. Let me know if this episode has helped you. Send me a DM. I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on social media. Let me know how these episodes have helped you. And as I kept saying earlier on in this program, it first starts with you. I'm going to put a link to my 3-day self-leadership challenge down below so that you can take that and then share this out with a work bestie. Share this out with someone that you care about. Share this out with your spouse. Share this out with your partner, your mom, someone that you know that is in a leadership role, that is really trying to do their best. All right. And until next time, I will see you on another wavelength. Bye.